Hey, it's Ramsey Dewey over here in Shanghai, China. Welcome to another edition of Q&A with the Coach. Today we have a question from our friend Lucy. Lucy says, how did you come to be so enthusiastic about martial arts and your body? How did you come to the philosophy of the intended state of the human body? I admire Schwarzenegger and the like, but I feel as though I could never be satisfied with a life focused on corporeal form. How will you feel as you age and die, thinking about the sum of your life? Will you feel content? Will you feel content? Those words are spelled exactly the same. Will you feel content that you had lived your life to the fullest? Do you feel a need to break new ground? I suppose I feel more identified with my unique mind than my unique body. I am a mind with a body, not a body with a mind. What if I told you your mind is your body is your mind? And it is really common to try to separate those, to try to say, let's go to a school to train the mind, and a gym to train the body, and a church to train the spirit, and compartmentalize our beings. And there is value in that. There is. But at the same time, when we realize when we are working on self-improvement of any type, we're improving our self, not just our biceps, but ourself. So, I believe in the video that Lucy was commenting on. What were the exact words she used? Let's take a look at that again. How did I come to the philosophy of the intended state of the human body? I think I was referencing animals. If you look at animals in the wild, not domesticated cats or domesticated dogs, which, man, if you look up fat pets on the internet, you will find some morbidly obese house cats, morbidly obese domestic dogs. But in the wild, we don't see that. We don't. It's just impossible for animals to exist in that state because they won't survive. They'll die. They'll get killed off. It's just nature out of balance is what it is. But if you look at a tiger, for example, look at the musculature on that animal. That animal is in its natural state. The natural state of a tiger is athleticism. It's an athletic beast. And then if you look at humans that live in cities that don't have to hunt and forage and climb and jump and do all of these athletic activities to live. And instead we can get by, we can get our food, we can do everything we want from the comfort of a chair, often without ever getting up. We see a completely different type of animal, one that is not natural, one that is living out of balance. And I understand what Lucy is saying about if you push yourself entirely in one direction, you become one-dimensional. If you get so intently focused on, check out these guns, my biceps are the most important thing in the world, you're going to be a crappy person. You're going to be a shallow person. If that is the sum total of your existence, you're going to be an unfulfilled person. And at the same time, if your body just doesn't work because of choices you have made, because you didn't use it, because you didn't use that gift, you're missing out on a great deal. You're missing out on life. Now, I believe in the immortality of the human soul. I don't want to get into a long rant about religious beliefs or ideas, but I believe that the human consciousness, the human spirit persists beyond death. And that there is more to life than just what we see here in this mortal coil. But while we are here in this life, we exist in the physical universe. We exist in this physical body with hands that do this. When I think about it, you ever just look at your hand like, whoa, it's like this thing, and I just think I want it to move, and it moves. That's amazing. Wow. I've had that epiphany when I was a small child, when I first became really self-aware of my hands, and I've never stopped thinking about it. Like, that is amazing. That is amazing. I just will that hand to move, and it moves. That's cool. Because there's a connection between the mind and the body. It's the same thing. It's connected, right? So if our body is out of whack, our mind is out of whack. If our mind is out of whack, our body is out of whack. Where did that expression, out of whack, come from? Out of whack, out of sync, out of unity, out of harmony. I am often asked, do you meditate? And sure, meditate is to think deeply about something, but the most effective methods of meditation I have found are moving meditations. A lot of people are big fans of yoga because it has lots of physical benefits. But when you are moving your body through these various postures, and you're straightening out your spine, and you're working out the kinks and the muscles and the joints and all of this stuff, you feel better. And there is blood coursing through the system. There's oxygen getting to the brain, getting to all of the nutrients, getting to all the parts of the body, all the muscles, all the tissues, all the organs. And that makes you feel good. It makes you feel better. It makes you feel more alive. And it makes you function differently. And that's a good thing. And it makes you think different thoughts than you would have otherwise. If you go on a walk, and this is something I love to do. I love to spend time walking, unplugged from the world, take off the headphones, get away from the phone, get away from the computer and the internet, and just unplug from everything, unplug from all those sounds, and just go walk and be and exist and experience a moving meditation of breathing and being. And those are where I have the most intense thoughts. That is where my mind starts to really light up, if you will. My mind. Because it's the body. Your mind is connected to your body, connected to your actions, not just your thoughts. If you want to think deep thoughts, do deep things. When I was 21 years old, I ended up hospitalized. I've told this story a number of times in some way, shape, or form. One of our viewers, I'm blanking on his name, but he asked me this question like 12 times or so in long format letters. And I attempted to answer this question about 6 times. I started making a recording and there were audio problems, or I got interrupted, and it just never worked out answering his question. But I'm going to answer yours and his right now. He asked me why I chose to start dancing. If you don't know, I have a degree in modern dance from Brigham Young University in the United States. A degree in modern dance. I performed professionally in several classical ballet and modern companies over the years. And a lot of people are shocked and surprised, but you're a cage fighter, you're an MMA coach. You do martial arts and dance. Don't you see that as a contradiction? No, they are complementary disciplines. Anything that makes you a better athlete, anything that increases your bodily kinesthetic intelligence, makes you a better fighter, makes you a better martial artist. There are different types of intelligence. Lucy, you should be aware of this. There are different types of intelligence. There is cognitive intelligence, if you will, the using your brain type of intelligence, the logic, the reason, the mathematics, right? The thinking part. Rationalizing things. And there is emotional intelligence. Being able to relate to other human beings, being able to understand other people. Being able to empathize. That's a type of intelligence, and it has nothing to do with picking up textbooks and studying. It has to do with being able to communicate with other people. And then there is kinesthetic bodily intelligence, which is the ability to move our body intelligently, as opposed to just randomly wiggling our hand, figuring out how do I use these hands to make works of art, or type things, or write a story, or do work, do some cabinetry, make some cool stuff with wood, or metallurgical arts, or whatever it is that we do. Everything we do with our body is a result of kinesthetic bodily intelligence. If you want to express the thoughts, the cerebral thoughts going up in your mind, you need a measure of kinesthetic bodily intelligence in order to express that in the physical universe, in a tangible, measurable way. And if you want people to see that and pay attention to it, you need emotional intelligence as well, in order to relay that to other people in a way that is palatable and interesting and fun and engaging. So there's more than one way to use your mind. So to answer this question about dance, and also to answer yours, at age 21, I ended up hospitalized, and I had all these major surgeries, had my intestines taken out and chopped up and stitched back together, put back in, and this went on for some time, and I was bedridden for the better part of 3 months. And after getting released from the hospital, I had to go back, and it happened again, and then it happened again, and it seemed like that was my life, and it sucked, and I became just dismally close to dying each time. It was terrible. It was horribly painful. I felt like giving up so many times. Felt like just giving up the ghost. It was like, I'm done waiting for God. I'm just gonna go. I can't take this anymore. But something just kept pulling me back. Thinking, I'm gonna suffer through this one more time. I'm gonna struggle through this one more time. I'm gonna make it one more time. Because I felt like I'm not done yet. There's more to do. There's more to do. And I remember one day I was walking across my university campus, and I stopped in this building where there was a modern dance performance happening. Just free to the public. I walked in, I sat down. I'd never seen a performing art like that before. Never seen a dance performance live before. And I sat down, and there were these dancers, these men and women dancing about, and they're all wearing like brown, normal-looking clothes, like street clothes, kind of dirty-looking clothes. And they're dancing about, and there's this girl who seems to be the main character of this performance. They seem to be telling a story of some type. And this girl is struggling, and it seems like she's not happy, and everything is difficult, and then it seems like she sort of dies in a very dancey type of way. And then she seems to come back to life. But as she does so, these dirty brown clothes are stripped off of her, and underneath she's wearing this bright white dress, and is beautiful, and she starts dancing around, and suddenly she's different. It's not like sad. It's not struggling. It's not like, oh, everything is heavy and terrible and I hate it. It's like joy and peace and it hit me right in the feels. I'm not sure how or why, but it made me feel something really powerful. And I was like, I can relate to this, because I feel like I was that struggling, movement. That difficult, heavy movement. That was my life for a very long time. And I want that freedom. I want that power, that peace. And I want to share that. I want to be able to make other people feel what I'm feeling right now. That was amazing. And that really got my interest, and I decided, okay, I'm going to learn how to dance. I'd have spent the last year or so almost dying multiple times in a hospital, unable to move, unable to breathe, unable to talk, with tubes sticking out of everywhere. And that sucked. That sucked a lot. Okay. And I thought, I have been living in my body this whole time, but I haven't really been living with my body this whole time. I want to learn how to use this vehicle that I'm living in, if you will. And not just live up here in my mind, in fantasy land. I want to be able to experience life the way it was meant to be lived. Like an animal, if you will. An animal that lives in its body and experiences life with its body, face first into the fray, if you will. And I discovered, when I signed up for that first dance class, that I was kinesthetically retarded. And I'm not joking when I say that. There is mental retardation, where we talk about cognitive retardation, and there are all types of politically correct terms thrown out there which everybody's debating. Say this instead of that. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. Mentally slow. I was kinesthetically retarded, meaning I had a very low level of kinesthetic bodily intelligence. And I was made very painfully aware of it when I tripped over my own feet in the very first class when the dance instructor told us to walk in the pattern of a square. Take one step here, one step here, one step here, one step here. Easy. I thought, okay, my mind understands that. My cognitive intelligence understands that. That looks easy. Let's do it. Ah! Boom. On the ground. Everybody's looking at me. Nobody's laughing, which kind of shocked me, but they're looking at me, concerned, like, what just happened? Was that for real? And I'm like, yeah. I'm not good at this. Yet. It's dangerous to say, I'm not good at this, because what's the subject in that sentence? I. And the modifier, not good. How does that make us feel? Not good. So make sure that the words you use to describe yourself are in the affirmative. I lack experience is a much more constructive way to phrase that than, I suck at this. I'm terrible at this. It's okay to lack experience. Everybody does until they don't. So I decided right there and then, picking myself up off the floor, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. The old aphorism from judo, fall down 7 times, stand up 8. I would pick myself up, and no matter how many times I fell down, I would pick myself up. And I decided I want to develop a high degree of kinesthetic bodily awareness. And I persisted, and I failed, and I persisted, and I failed, and I persisted, and I failed, and I kept doing that. And I never stopped doing that. And as a result, I learned a great, great deal about myself, about the world around me. And anytime anybody thinks themselves wise, it's a pretty clear indicator they are not. But I learned a great deal more from that point to this point because of my involvement in physical culture. Because that moving meditation of learning how to dance, going from the point of kinesthetic retardation to professional performance. Try that sometime. I had a dance instructor, Raymond Robinson, at Brigham Young University. Awesome, awesome guy. And he taught a modern dance improvisation class. And before each class, he would have all of the students juggle. At the beginning of the class, he handed out juggling balls to everyone. Juggling balls for you and for you. Everybody gets juggling balls. What for? Professor Robinson, what for? Well, you're going to practice juggling for 5 minutes at the beginning of every class. And we said, okay, but what's the dance application of this? No. Ask me at the end of the semester, he insisted. So, at the beginning, I threw one ball up, and after some time I was able to juggle 2, and then eventually 3, and I was so amazed. Look, I can juggle 3, and then 4, what is going on? And then 5, and then 6. Holy crap, 6 juggling balls? This is impossible, and yet here I am, I'm doing it. I'm the guy who tripped over his own feet, and I'm juggling 6. Higher degree of kinesthetic bodily awareness, all this great stuff. And we were all shocked. We were all surprised that by the end of the semester, every last person, even the most uncoordinated of them all, was able to juggle. And so, at the end of the semester, we asked, Professor Robinson, why did you have us juggle at the beginning of every class for 5 minutes? And he looked at us and he said casually, well, now you know how to juggle. And initially I was so disappointed. Where's the deep answer and the deep connections between that and modern dance improvisation? Except that was the deepest thing he possibly could have said. Now you know how to juggle. You didn't then, and now you do. Something that was once impossible is now possible, thanks to an application of your physical body. You have learned something. You have acquired a skill. There might be crossover between juggling and dancing, sure, yeah. Why? Because it makes you smarter. It expands your mind in ways you never knew possible. We could have a discussion about, dance and martial arts and how those cross over, flexibility and coordination and all that stuff. But I don't want to, because I don't really feel it contributes much to this conversation. But what I do, as far as using my body, is not just aesthetic. It's not just the outside. If that's all it was, it wouldn't matter much. So Lucy and anybody else wondering, I would strongly recommend, get up, go outside, go on a walk, experience a moving meditation, do some yoga, do a martial art, lift some weights, experience your body, develop your other senses, your senses of proprioception. What is proprioception? It's the ability to recognize the parts of your body relative to itself and the physical universe around you. Develop your sense of kinesthetic bodily awareness. That's your sense of movement, the ability to sense the movement of your own body. Develop your kinesthetic intelligence. And you will never look back, because it's amazing, and it will expand your mind. I hope that answers your question. Thanks for watching. Now get out there and train.